time, and one that there's been a giant question mark over top of. Two men who have lived their lives as brothers in battle for over 2.5 years at this point will now face one-on-one in a matchup we thought we would never see. That is Atticus Cogar. And the face tells the story in this regard. Atticus Cogar oftentimes is a very ugly individual, much more so inside than out. Atticus Cogar is vengeful. Atticus Cogar is angry. But as of late, we've seen Atticus Cogar fight for family, fight for his fallen brother Otis, fight for his Culmination brothers against LaRusso's court. But could individual glory interrupt that battle here tonight as Atticus has his very first Premier Championship opportunity? Atticus has never held a singles title in his career. And there you see the New Age playing Gory. 4 weeks removed from ending Ron Mathis' title reign. Ron Mathis has been a cumulative Premier Champion for 399 days. Gory put an end to that when he defeated the White Trash Maniac. And now that the championship is in the camp of the Culmination, and ever since I made the decision Atticus Cogar was deserving of an opportunity, since an injury prevented Atticus from being in the #1 contenders match against Gory, the Culmination has been tense, and the Culmination has not been on the same page.
Introducing first, to my left, the challenger, representing the Culmination, weighing in at 175 pounds, from Cleveland, Ohio, Atticus Cogar! His opponents, representing the Culmination, from Ogden Marsh, weighing tonight at 179 pounds, he is the current reigning and defending Premier Champion. He is the New Age playing Gory!
It was Gory's mission to be Premier Champion ever since a Premier Championship was formed 2 years ago to the month. How poetic or ironic may it be if the man to end Gory's 2-year journey to that championship and take that title from him is the man who he's taken under his wing and mentored in that time of Atticus Cogar.
Atticus Cogar, as you said, never been a singles champion in his career. And isn't it so apropos that it's against Gory, a man who at one time struggled with singles championships of his own?
Look at this, Marcus. Atticus takes off the Culmination armband and flings it to the floor.
Well, I noticed Gory wasn't wearing his when he walked out.
Gory puts on Atticus's armband. Mind games between both sides, that's a Culmination staple. Was Atticus perhaps throwing away that allegiance for this match? Was Gory perhaps saying something deeper?
And now Gory offering hand. I very rarely have seen that ever happen.
A tense and firm handshake.
And it's like Gory very rarely respects anyone in this business. That is not who Gory is. He's here to infect the world, and showing respect to Atticus is unique for a man like him.
This is a battleground for two warriors to leave it all in this ring. Will the individual goals supersede that of the group? Atticus could not compete for this championship due to a fractured orbital bone. His eye was severely injured. He also was coming off a severe concussion. The aggressive collar and elbow. A clean break, but the feeling out process, I'd say early going, advantage champion.
Gory with a clean break. Again, this is rare to see from Gory. He's not a man who usually, like I said, respects his opponent. But there is a deep respect he has for Atticus Cogar.
When Atticus came to Premier, Atticus was a 19-year-old kid. And with the help of Gory, Atticus has become one of the most feared and one of the most successful athletes in this part of the country.
Yeah, they've become good friends. The culmination has spread all over the United States between these two men and their good friend Remy LeVay as well. And this feeling out process, Gory is just maneuvering Atticus where he wants them to go.
I can only imagine what Remy is thinking watching in the locker room. Gory is a veteran of over 14 years. Atticus, only about 3. But it's Atticus now with a takeover on Gory. Both these men are very similar as far as body, as far as mindset, as far as strategy. As you see Gory get the most out of that head scissors, really cinching Atticus. Snaps up quickly with a kippa.
Yeah, the feeling out process here, as we've talked about, they have tagged before, they have ridden together, they have been friends, they've been allies, but it's really, you don't really get to know someone in this business until you are square in the ring on the opposite side.
And you don't get to taste them until you do that either, because Gory, that animalistic thirst for flesh, Atticus is not exempt from that either.
And no man in Gory's eyes is exempt from feeling the new plague that he wants to spread.
And for one of the rare times in his career, Atticus takes pause as he thinks about how to address this. Pace quickens again. 2 great athletes, very similarly sized, takedown, and 2 very aggressive men as well, who will go at you full force. Atticus trips up Gory and into an Oklahoma roll. You see that drop down a lot in professional wrestling, and a lot of times the man running is able to counter, but Atticus was able to bridge up just enough to trip Gory. It's about knowing your opponent, it's about knowing your timing. Atticus caught Gory in what is normally a rudimentary move, but Atticus countered it expertly, and now back to the side headlock takeover.
Yeah, and you saw the frustration of Gory that he got caught in that. He was, I think, more disappointed in himself than impressed with Atticus Cogar.
Atticus the takedown. Keep in mind, Atticus came to Gory. He said he wanted that shot. He wanted to test himself. Pair of leapfrogs, Jimmy Snuka style. Arm drag by Gory, but Atticus responds in kind. Atticus wanted to test himself against the best. Gory was thinking about the group, but Atticus was insistent, and tempers raised from there. And this has been the scene ever since, as Gory traps Atticus for 2. Atticus turns things around, and it's been Gory and Atticus at each other's throats, wondering who is better, who is best fit to serve as champion. Backslide for 2. And it's Gory with a cradle. And so tough to determine an advantage, so tough to determine a clear-cut athlete who's on offense here. Both Gory and Atticus, the eyes tell the story, the focus, the intent, the intensity. And for my money, we're in a stalemate still, this deep in the contest.
Yeah, Gory, you see that head nod he had there, more to himself than anyone else, understanding where Atticus is, and I think Gory knows what he needs to do now. I think the ring general that is Gory, the 14 years of experience going through all of that, I think he might have saw something in Atticus there.
Has it earned the respect of Gory enough for another handshake? Whoa! And that's where the competitive nature will cause tempers to flare.
Joe, you talked about Atticus Cogar wanting to test himself against the best. Gory saying that this is about the group. And in Atticus' eyes, that is what a leader of the group would say. But Atticus Cogar fancies himself a leader just as much.
Atticus firing away. And no matter who wins this matchup, Marcus, the question on my mind is, can the culmination recover, or will they self-destruct over this pressure and controversy.
And really, when you talk about big insecurity there, when you really talk about, isn't that what Chris LaRusso wants?
Absolutely, LaRusso's court's still suspended, but you gotta believe they're watching on. They'll see this footage. They'll hear these results. Atticus connects with Gory on the side of the jaw. Hook of the leg for 2.
And that thrust kick, Gory had nowhere to go. His face right into Atticus Cogar's boot. And Atticus Cogar's, I'm surprised, early on took this advantage. Gory is all out of sorts here. He might be in his own head more than I've ever seen him.
Atticus has always been rebellious, whether it's rebelling against society, whether it's rebelling against his trainers, whether it's rebelling against what's expected of him. Atticus Cogar always marches to the beat of his own drum. It doesn't surprise me, in the heat of the moment, that temper comes out and Atticus rebels against his mentor, Gory.
Yeah, and it's all about pride. It's all about testing himself. It's all about being champion. And Gory, in the same vein here.
Helter-skelter. It's not a submission attempt because it's in the ropes, but it does its damage. And Gory springs him with a crossbody. And Gory is so adept at using his body as an offensive weapon. It's something about Gory that Atticus has watched for years but never really felt until now. Atticus set face first into the turnbuckle. Gory can build up so much momentum in a short amount of time.
Fluidity of Gory.
All the knees.
Just moving from one side of the ring to the other, doing damage with each and every pass.
And Gory debating whether he bites into the skull or not, chose to go monkey flip. Interesting change of course by Gory, who chops the leg and hits the DDT. Gory into the cover for 2. How do you read Gory's change of strategy there, not biting? Is that remorse? Is it sympathy?
I think Gory is in his own head here. You know, we talked about how important it was for Gory to become champion, how much effort and he put into it, almost 2 years. And Gory's struggles have been well known and well documented to be a champion. But it seems to me that Gory is in his own head. He doesn't want to take out and defeat and infect his own mentee, his own friend.
Well, notice Gory just slapped Atticus in the face.
That might have been from the middle finger that he just got.
Yeah, after the knife edge chops, there's a lateral press, but Atticus, as rebellious as always, he will always react on impulse. That middle finger to the chops, and it is again Gory the veteran saying, listen kid, if you want to test yourself, that's great, but I'm going to bring it. And there's going to be no surcease and no stopping once I get started. Atticus, brain hemorrhage. This'll do it if he hits it. Gory counters the knees, but Atticus pushes off. Oh, mid-ring collision.
Both men down. You want to talk about the mental strategy here of this? Both men hitting right in the middle of the ring, and their wind is just gone.
And now a double clothesline on top of it. Again, you talk about the stalemate. You talk about how even keel these athletes are, how similarly they think. And both men are down. Premier Championship on the line.
If Gory is thinking about this right now, and he's getting up. Gory so far in this match has talked, as we talked about, wanting to teach Atticus a lesson, perhaps be the mentor. But if he's going to remain champion, he's got to be Gory, not the mentor.
Hey! He's up! He's up!
You hear people cheering for Gory, cheering for Atticus, and many are just stunned in fear that this is the end of the culmination before their eyes, and Atticus again a slap. And this could be getting more personal as the match goes on. You can hear the impact. You can feel the volatility.
Gory getting the advantage there.
And Atticus right back. But now Gory on the rebound. It is a mirror image here in this Premier Championship match.
Each man going for what they think is their biggest opportunities here, but Atticus Cogar showing beyond his years, stopping and getting that back elbow.
Oh, and Atticus trying to create distance, and Gory knows how to cut that distance off at the drop of a hat. Atticus, I believe, was able to duck that first kick, moves out of the way of the second, caught Gory with a knee. Again, no one has watched Gory more closely than Atticus. The springboard drop kick caught Gory in the side of the head. New champion, though.
As you talked about, it's not just Atticus looking up to Gory. It's being on the outside. It's being on the ring apron. It's watching your friend fight these battles that you learn every single thing about them. And Atticus Cogar is putting it all to use here.
It's not personal.
And you heard Atticus say it's not personal as he kicked his mentor's head, nearly clear off. German suplex. Atticus didn't know. Imagine if you're Atticus Cogar. Imagine what this could mean. So young in your career. Just days shy of your 22nd birthday, you could become the premier champion.
And what that means to him, what that means to anyone in that position, and what it means to Gory is he's got to do everything he can to keep it.
That's all Gory knows. Tunnel vision in your face. Thanks out of the way. Jeez! Gory drops Atticus awkwardly in the corner. This could do it. Atticus hand on the rope. Just barely. I mean, if that cover was inches further to the center of the ring, this match is over.
And Gory using that turnbuckle to his advantage to hit that exploder, but because he hit it in the turnbuckle, the distance to those ropes, he could not pull Atticus all the way over, and just barely got his hand on that rope.
It's Gory up top and Atticus. Beats Gory coming in. The stakes keep raising here as now these men fight high off the ground.
And this could be the match here, Joe. Whoever gets the advantage here on the top rope could dictate the entirety of this match.
I don't know about you, Marcus, but after seeing all this aggression and violence, I have a hard time picturing the culmination ever standing together again. Gory the double stomp.
Or did he just stomp out the entire culmination with that move right there?
Could retain his title. No.
You know, for these two men, usually as tag team partners, when you see the other person take that huge move and be able to kick out, there's so much excitement, there's so much feeling in your heart. And now, when you feel that person kick out, the knowing in the back of your head of what do I got to do? What do I got to do to finish this off? Well, then Gory just threw off that armband.
Is that symbolic? Have we seen the last stand of the culmination? Atticus ducks. The suplex Gory on his head. Brain hemorrhage. Gory gets spiked. New champion. No. And it's Gory. Just as Atticus had done moments ago, just barely using his surroundings to save his championship aspirations.
I think, Joe, that is the difference between 14 years and 3 years right there, is that ring positioning. Gory was out cold, but could see that rope in the distance in his brain and just reached out for it.
There you see what these men represented until tonight. Could it just be about the Premier Championship? Is the Brotherhood over? Double stomp of Gory out of the way. Got the knees. Atticus is dazed. Atticus is loopy. Gory senses an opportunity.
You never know what Gory's going for up top here.
Superplex attempt. Atticus headbutts his way free. With the future of the culmination looming, Gory and Atticus may have to kill each other to settle this championship score.
Getting on top.
Oh my God. Is Gory gonna do this?
Oh no.
Trepidation from high above. And Gory's retained the championship, but just barely.
Here is your winner, and still the premier champion, Gory!
There are mixed reactions throughout Turner's Hall. Some fans had their favorites. Some fans were concerned about the culmination as a whole. All sorts of different emotions ring throughout this venue. But one thing we know in this moment, Gory has retained the top prize in Premier Championship Wrestling. But what a hell of a fight the New Age Plague had to go through to get there.
Yeah, if you're Gory, you stand on top today. But I think that everyone knows that at some point Atticus Cogar is going to stand on top. He's going to have his moment as well. It's just not his day today.
And with the questions answered and the doubt no longer raised, we have seen these men test each other. Remy LeVay out here as well. Let me just pick up that armband. And it looks to me the culmination through the perils of this matchup may have actually become stronger. That bond between Gory and Atticus, they fought like hell. But does it mean even further mutual respect?
After being dropped on my head several times, I struggle to find what words I'm going to say. But all I can say is thank you. Since I was 13 years old, my parents out there in the crowd used to take me to all the community shows. They used to take me all the local community shows. And that's when I first saw you. And ever since, I've aspired to be like you. And be a champion like you. So from 13 years old to now, I'd say the same thing. Thank you. George, I'm sorry. On the same note, ever since I saw you, I saw your potential. I saw your worth. And I saw that us together could do big things. I know that you didn't do it tonight, but in the future, I know that you will be holding this. It's all you. I'm going to test you. And you prove yourself
You got an A?
far beyond anything I could expect. So thank you. Before you guys leave, now that we love each other again, I've had 4 people in mind ever since they put my brother out of action, and that's Chris Russo, Duke Davis, Dan Jones Jr., and the former premier champion, Ron Mathis.
Forever expired, thank God.
And I know that they're forgotten, they're suspended, whatever. But Joe Dombrowski, I know that they're listening back there, wherever you are, and I want all of their contracts reinstated because what Remy, what Gory can do to them is far worse than whatever a suspension can do. And we gotta get even.
Yeah, for what, Joe? What's he said?
I don't know about you guys, but that was a hell of a main event. What do you think? I've heard your request here tonight. I've heard your request over the past few weeks. I've seen the work and effort you put in, and even though you guys started out on the other side of the fence from me, we were at odds, you've done a hell of a job representing this brand on the road, because your culmination has been kicking ass in 7 different states. And Remy, I know you want your hands on Tony Johnson again. I know there's a man out here named Sonny DeBarge, and him and Crumble's one other piece of the main event. And I know there's unfinished business with Gory and Mathis, with Atticus and Russo. So on Sunday, April 28th, we will be back in this building with the Fallout. And I'll make sure you can get your hands on Tony again. I will reinstate the main event. And maybe we'll cross paths with Crumbles and DeBarge. I will reinstate Chris LaRusso, and he will go one-on-one with Atticus Cogar. And because of the matchup we just saw, I'm going to make that matchup a #1 contenders match. And Mr. Gory, Ron Mathis called me. He was very loud, very angry, but he wants his rematch clause adhered to. So you got another date with the White Trash Maniac. LaRusso's court will be back next month. I sincerely hope you guys can take care of him, and I wish you every good luck.
Big announcement from Joe Dombrowski. LaRusso's court is back next time for the fallout of this big decision. Gory retains his premier championship here, and for Joe Dombrowski, Marcus, man, everyone at Premier Championship Wrestling, thank you so much. We'll see you for Fallout next month.